This is probably one of the toughest decisions as far as whether or not to close school that we've had in some time. We waited on Friday, Superintendent, well actually let me take a step back. We determined that it would be best to close school on Friday this past week. Originally, that was our 1 day of closure, so we could get ahead of what's been going on with the coronavirus and the pandemic that's impacting the world. We wanted to clean our buildings. We wanted to make sure that they were as disinfected as possible, safe as possible for our students and staff. So we were going to take a 3-day clean Friday through the weekend, and the original plan was to come back Monday. That changed quickly into Friday. We were on conference calls with the Commissioner of Education on Friday morning, and while they gave direction on a number of areas related to the impact that the coronavirus has, they did not give us any clear direction on canceling school as a state. So after that meeting was over, there were already a number of school districts that were closed for a day, for a week, for 2 weeks. Some had already gone and closed for a month. So we decided as a regional group of superintendents, pretty much from Quincy on down to Plymouth and inland a little bit, to take the lead and close our schools out of a preponderance of caution for 2 weeks. And that was our decision as a Friday. So over the weekend, we were planning on coordinating this 2-week closure, which then we found out at about 5:30 on Sunday early evening that the governor was closing schools for a total of 3 weeks. So we're adjusting to that point. It was not an easy decision, but it was one that we obviously look at the information we're receiving from the Department of Public Health, from the state of education, from our governor, from our local boards and local health agents, and we felt we had to do what was best for our students and staff. All schools are closed in Marshfield until at least April 7th. We are theoretically open for business, quote unquote business, but that's through voicemail, through emails. You can contact your school, you can call and leave messages. Principals will be getting back to folks. Here at the Ventress, where central administration is, we have a few folks who come in just because they have to be here to do certain paperwork that is needed for the district. But other than that, everyone is working remotely from home. The buildings are not open to the public. The only area of any building right now that is being used is the cafeteria at the high school because they are preparing grab-and-go meals for some of our students in need for breakfast and lunch each day. Well, we started last Friday after we had the closure originally scheduled for Friday to clean the buildings to make sure that they were as disinfected as possible. Our custodians have worked tirelessly over the last 4 or 5 days. They spent all weekend scouring down the building, disinfecting. We had some tools that the town lent to us that we used as well to help augment the cleaning. We met with cleaning experts on Monday as well to get some new tools and resources to use throughout. But now that the buildings are empty, there's going to be limited custodial coverage in the buildings. As we get ready to open up, hopefully in a few weeks' time, we'll bring the custodians back in and there'll be some more heavy-duty cleaning going on in preparation of that opening. With regards to the plans that we have in place for remote or online learning, I just sent out an email this morning. We have put together a community of learning resources that will be available online. There's activities. All of these are voluntary. We can't mandate during this closure. We can't mandate that students complete these assignments. They're not going to be graded. But there are a number of activities, resources, not only for the mind but for the body as well. There's a lot of SEL type activities that are available, and students can go online and look at their grade specific or subject specific and access those. There's links on that community of learning resources for parents as well as for staff. They can go on and find some resources that will help them get through this process. And our students, especially at the high school and middle school level, they do a lot of their work on Canvas, on the Canvas platform. They'll have access to any work there that they might have been doing before the closure. There's no new work being assigned to any students while we're in closure, but if they had assignments that they were working on before we shut down, they'll be able to access that through the Canvas. But that's all in this, what we call the MPSD community of learning. This is a real wonderful thing. You find the grab and go program is something that, when you see challenging times and you look to your community to see who steps up, who wants to help. Marshfield, there's hundreds and thousands of people that want to do that. It's been heartwarming to see. This is just simply grab and go meals that we're putting together. Our food services staff are making them in the morning. There's simple, grains and fruit and juice and milk and some type of morning meal. And then we also have sandwiches for our lunch bag sandwiches, fruit, cookie, milk, juice as well, that are made and packaged. And we bring them over to the Boys and Girls Club, again, to keep folks away from the school. The Boys and Girls Club, Mr. Jim Bonnell, their director, and the entire team volunteered to host the distribution center. And so they're brought over there in the morning. Parents who need these for their children, who rely on the schools for those meals during the week, can drive through and pick them up. They don't have to get out of their car. They don't have to go in the building. They can get the food, and then it's available each day between 8 and 11 a.m. Today was the first day that we did it, and we had a little lighter turnout than we expected, but I think as time moves on and we'll keep on promoting this program, we'll get more folks coming in to grab the meals. Again, the food pantry here in Marshfield has been very helpful in helping supply and augment some of the foods that we'll be using. They're also getting many volunteers who want to help out. There have been countless numbers of parents, citizens in town who have called, how can we help? They're either giving money to the food pantry to help them get more food, they're donating food themselves, or they're volunteering their time, which is all great. And then Star Market here in town is actually donating 30 sandwiches a day that are going into this packet. So we're making X amount each day. We have our own supplies, but we're mixing in the food donations that came from Star Market, so we can't thank them enough. So with regards to any academic educational updates, I'm trying to keep folks in the loop. We've been sending out probably, I think we've had now 4 or maybe 5 communications since last Thursday night related to the initial closure and then the extension. We're going to try to keep folks on a daily, if not a couple times a week basis in the loop so they can plan accordingly. Right now this is a fluid situation, as you know, and what we think is the norm at noon has changed at 1 and then it's changed again at 5. So I'm trying to tell my folks, let's focus on the here and now, day to day, week to week, and then not get too caught up about things down the road. But the state has told us that obviously we have MCAS testing that's beginning in the midst of this closure. So obviously that schedule is going to be relaxed. There's discussions on what they may or may not do as far as the entire MCAS program for the spring. We don't know that information yet. As soon as we get it, we will let folks know. But obviously the initial start is going to be changed, and I think the schedule will be relaxed quite a bit. AP, which is run by College Board, they gave us some information that I shared in one of the communications this weekend, and those schedules, again, for exams, which are typically at the beginning of May, folks are realizing they're going to have to push those back. They haven't set hard and fast times, but I'm guessing that they're going to be moved towards the end of May at the very least, I should say, because right now students are not getting that curriculum acquisition and aren't going to be prepared for those exams early May. So there'll be others. Right now, again, I'm trying not to over-inundate folks about things that we can't control at the moment, but as soon as we find out if there's changes to anything else, we'll let them know. I've been trying to, have the main communications come from the district level, but I've urged them, whether it's for medication pickup or whether it's for if they need a Chromebook to work on some of the resources we're providing, if they don't already have one, we're going to try to do the best we can to lend those out, have folks sign those out. But all the communication, those requests should go to their principal. So their building principal, they can either email them or they can call the main office. And again, the messages will be getting checked throughout the day, each day. Emails will probably be the quickest response. And if they have a question about anything, they can obviously contact their principal. I know though that the teachers, the classroom teachers, have been reaching out to the students and trying to create a sense of normalcy during these trying times, and just again, many of the resources that we have in our community of learning resources online are already being shared by teachers, and teachers are communicating on a daily basis with the kids to try to kind of lessen some of their concerns and some of their fears. But they can feel free to reach out to them, but for the big questions they should go through the principal. As far as new information and updates, parents and students should check their emails. I'll be sending them maybe not every day as far as a big message, but if there's any updates that need to get out, I'll get those out on a daily basis. Anything that can just be posted, they can go to the mpsd.org website, which is our main page. I'll also tweet most likely anything that's going to be of importance that needs to get out to folks, and they'll have an idea to look at that as well. Actually, a great question. We just had a meeting amidst all of the stuff going on here in town. I was, had to set up a board meeting. I'm the president of the MIAA, and we have a 21 person board. So we had a call-in board meeting yesterday because of the dates. We had pushed back a few weeks ago. We had pushed back the start of the season based on the original expectation that schools were going to be out for 2 weeks. With the new changes, and with many of the other districts even exceeding what the governor said for 3 weeks. The entire city of Boston is out until the end of April 27th, as is Everett, as is Malden, big communities. So we voted yesterday as a board to have the start of the season, the spring season, first day of tryouts, first day of practices be Monday, April 27th. That way everybody starts at the same time, and we don't have part of the state starting earlier and part of the state starting later. So practices will start on the 27th. We haven't decided on when the first games will be, but the end date for the season, the final championships, will be played no later than Sunday, June 21st. So between April 27th and June 21st, we have another committee called the Tournament Management Committee. They're putting together what the season would look like for each of the spring sports and what the tournament would look like with a shortened season. We're obviously not going to play 20 full games like you typically would in softball or lacrosse or baseball. So there's going to be some variation of that'll get communicated out. We're hoping by the middle of next week. I just want to simply thank the people of Marshfield. This has been a unique time. I keep on saying these are uncharted waters that we're in, and everybody across the community has stepped up to work with the schools. The town side and the schools are all working together. In town hall and the police and the fire, and the communication has been tremendous. The collaboration and help has been great to see, and it just really it's heartwarming, and it's why I love being here in Marshfield, working here in Marshfield, and I think it speaks to the character of the people in Marshfield, that when things get tough, they band together and they see how they can help, and every day I'm running into examples of that. So I just want to thank everybody, my staff, the best teachers in the state, best principals, and our students who are so dedicated, and their families. I can't thank them enough, and I can't wait to see them, but I will keep in touch throughout this process, that's for sure.